Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Thursday, January 6, 2022. And we begin with NASA officials over the moon as its $10 billion space camera gets ready to reveal the story of our universe. Launched on Christmas Day, the James Webb Space Telescope is en route to Lagrange Point 2, its orbital destination about 1 million miles from Earth. So far, the pioneering spacecraft is firing on all cylinders. On Tuesday, the operations team finished unfurling the scope's gigantic 5-layer sun shield, a painstakingly complex process upon which the entire operation depended. Then yesterday, they successfully deployed a tripod to support one of 3 mirrors that will work together to beam back light from distant stars and galaxies. If all continues to go well, the Webb should reach its target by the end of this month, where it will spend 3 months cooling off before transmitting its first images sometime this summer. Today is a solemn day as the U.S. marks the first anniversary of the storming of the Capitol in Washington, D.C. President Biden and Vice President Harris will address the nation this morning from inside that building, where, at the time of the assault, lawmakers were meeting to ratify results of the 2020 presidential election. Congress will also observe a moment of silence on the House floor. More than 700 arrests have been made, although the FBI estimates that 2,000 may have been involved. For those that remember, the violence was shocking and the political divide enormous. Covering the story for our listeners in a kid-friendly way wasn't the easiest, but we rose to meet the challenge. If you'd like to hear how and why, check out the blog on our website at kidnuz.org. It includes a link to the original podcast from the morning after. Every dog may have its day, but not every dog breed gets one. For the Moody and Russian toy, that time is now. These 2 distinctly different canines are the latest to be recognized by the 138-year-old American Kennel Club. The AKC is the country's oldest and most prestigious registry of purebred dogs. The medium-sized, shaggy-haired Moody descended from a long line of sheepdogs and is known for its athleticism, while the petite toy weighs just 6.5 pounds and is small enough to fit in your lap. As for what all this boils down to, these breeds are now eligible to compete in events like the popular Westminster Dog Show, which would normally take place this month. However, just like last year, this year's is being rescheduled due to COVID. One of Hollywood's biggest star-studded nights is losing its luster, leaving legions of disappointed fans in its wake. Sunday's annual Golden Globes, an award show known for its celebrity-filled red carpet, A-list hosts, and raucous live audience, will have none of the above this year, and it's not all COVID's fault. Last year, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association came under fire for its lack of diversity, as well as potentially corrupt business practices in how it chooses its winners. Reps from the organization say changes have been made, but a soft boycott ensued, with top stars refusing to participate in the ceremony. NBC had already canceled this year's telecast, telling the organization in no uncertain terms to get their act together if they want to be back on the air next year. In other KidNuz notes, in Chicago, hundreds of thousands of students got an unexpected day off of school yesterday. School district officials notified parents late Tuesday night that all classes were canceled after the teachers' union voted not to return to the classroom until improved COVID safety protocols were in place. Negotiations between the 2 parties continued late into the day to try and avoid more lost learning. Teachers say they will be back on the job on January 18th, whether or not an agreement is reached. And they're calling it a Kentucky Fried Miracle. Beginning Monday, and for a limited time, fast food giant KFC will offer chickenless nuggets on its menu. Made with Beyond Meat, the plant-based morsels were a major hit in their debut back in 2019, selling out at one Atlanta store in less than 5 hours. Whether this move will ignite a new kind of chicken war, only time will tell. That's it for KidNuz. Now, our KidNuz quiz. What's the name of NASA's new $10 billion observatory? The James Webb Space Telescope. The American Kennel Club now recognizes what 2 dog breeds? Moody, and Russian toy. In what city did school kids get an unscheduled vacation? Chicago, due to COVID concerns among teachers. Today is the first anniversary of what notable event? The storming of the U.S. Capitol. In today's Kid News Kicker, it's a week of firsts for women on the move. When the Navy ship USS Abraham Lincoln set sail out of San Diego Bay on Monday, Captain Amy Bauern-Schmidt was at the helm as the first woman ever to lead a nuclear carrier. The captain is a decorated officer and instructor with more than 3,000 flight hours under her belt. Further south, 32-year-old Preet Chandy became the first woman of color to complete a solo trek across Antarctica. Nicknamed Polar Preet, the British Army physiotherapist skied 700 miles from the Hercules Inlet to the South Pole in weather sometimes dipping below 50 degrees Celsius and finished 5 days early. Chandy documented her 40-day journey on Instagram and on her blog, hoping to inspire others to push beyond their limits. Before we go, a big Kid News shout-out for our terrific teachers and their students, Ms. Kirby Lamont at Scano Elementary in Clifton Park, New York. Mrs. Lanier at Ashford Elementary in Dothan, Alabama. Mrs. Frank's awesome kids in room 21 at Hoover Elementary in Burlingame, California. And in North Carolina, Ms. Ray at the Progressive Education Program in Fletcher, and Mrs. Locklear at Sampson Middle School in Clinton. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We hope you tune in for more Kid News tomorrow morning.